testing the lavalier microphone I got, Rode brand, a little pricey. But I'm hoping it can pick up my voice a little better. The way I'm having this set up right now is not optimum. I'm plugged into my bike's battery right now, so I don't have any battery going on the GoPro itself, not to get hot. I don't know if you can see the wacky wire connections here in the mirror, but I got like a microphone jack going out the side into the lavalier, which is wrapped up into my helmet, into a microphone, a separate microphone in my ear, so it would pick up my GPS directions. Anything coming into my helmet speaker should be picked up, including my own voice, which is literally right next to this damn thing. In a riding situation, I would be intercommed with my partners through my Senna, and their voices would come in through the speaker. So the goal is, with this particular setup, and I have another configuration with that actual Senna backpack, but that only works when I'm like connected with someone else, and otherwise it's, you know, pretty boring. But this way I can kind of get the audio from my phone, music, phone, GPS directions, anything blasting into my speaker should be picked up on this internal microphone I have connected to the Senna's port. Still recording. Alright, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not really much of a talker. I just wanted to get the preliminary setup, so you're not going to hear much yakking during the ride. Oh, and I also have my new Climb K51 jeans on, which I love. Alpine Stars GP Air, which I love.
Turn left. Turn left.
I guess the goal is not really to do a lot of talking. I just wanted to have the challenge of setting this up. Let's see if it works. The hardest part was the battery, keeping and an SD card, keeping that stuff together. A lot of times you'll see me check the light in the mirror to make sure a damn thing is on, because there's no indicator. If it goes off and you're like having the ride of your life, you know, you're not going to know if it recorded or not. So that's annoying. I had the remote for it, which required a Wi-Fi connection to the GP. But that would fail. And this particular card that I have doesn't like 60 frames per second for some reason, so I had to drop it down to 30. But my resolution is 1080p. So a lot of tweaking. Another thing, I can't hear shit on this remote, or this GPS isn't very loud. I'm gonna have to pull over here and see if I can turn this up.
In 0.2 miles, turn left onto Old Arch Road.
Well, I can hear that, but it's not very loud in the bike. Usually it's pretty louder than that. Pause this for a second so I can go into the audio. Maybe it's just a simple that up a little bit. Just pause you. Pause.
You paused your ride.
Okay, that's pretty loud. It's already pretty loud over there. Speed. Alright.
In 0.6 miles, turn right.
Alright, well, that's pretty loud, but I don't know why I couldn't hear shit before.
Right on.
Alright.
In 0.1 miles, turn left onto Old Arch Road. Turn left. In 0.1 miles, turn left onto East German Turnpike. Turn left. In 0.1 miles, turn right onto East Township Line Road.
And one more thing, the audio quality
Turn right.
is not going to be super stellar as far as the wind noise goes, because another thing I found out is I like to have my shield cracked when I ride, so it's easier to flip up and down and stop. And it's not as quiet as when it's clipped down tight. You'll hear like a whistle. When I close it now, it's like dead silent, no whistling. So this is the optimum sound quality. But like I said, right now you're hearing my voice through like almost like an echo chamber, the ambient sound inside my helmet, which the microphone should pick up. But it's really configured for listening to the speaker. My microphone, I have it set up so I can hear myself in the mic. I forget the term again. It's like, you know, like your gaming console headphones. This day is weird. It's like overcast, it's sunny, now overcast again. Take off my visor. There you go. So far, I'm liking the GoPro. This isn't the first time I ran this configuration. This is the first time with the microphone, but it wouldn't affect the functionality of the unit, the GoPro itself. That was my biggest hurdle. A lot of times it was shut off in mid-ride for no reason. Come to find out, I always thought like the generic specs for recording were 1080p at 60 frames per second, like the default. And then whatever card you had that was like, you know, not stupid, we should be able to run it. So I did some speed tests on some cards that I was using, SanDisk, Samsung, 64 gig, you know, compatible. I did a little bit of research, but when I ran the test, it was the app was configured for, like, you know, video resolutions, and you could see, you know, what it would run at this speed or at this resolution. So it had them all on a list, and it would like fail right around 1080p 50 frames per second. It would never get to 60 frames. It would like give a big red X at that stage, and everything above it was green check marks. So I'm like, so that's why it's failing. Like, the card wouldn't do 60 frames per second for whatever reason. And when it tried to write that quick, it would just crash it and then turn off the camera. So that was that problem. So dropping the frame rate to 30 seemed to have been the trick, because I haven't had a problem since with either of the cards. But it's still a little disappointing. I wanted a quicker. Not that you're going to be needing 60 frames a second. Like, that's not even, like, you know, necessary. Your eye sees, you know, smooth at 24 frames. Anything below that, your eye will start seeing, like, the different frames, like, you know, when you're like
1 mile, turn left.
A kid making little animations out of a stack of paper and just changing it slightly on each corner and flicking it. That's not 20. That's below 24 frames per second, because your eye can definitely see that shit. But it still looks cool, right? But for something smooth, like high def, you don't want to see that shit. So it's got to be 24 or higher. Now 30 is fine. That's above 24. You know, you can't tell this is any frames on this. But I heard that the reason why they do 60 is for guys and gals who like to, in you know, in the post, after they get it into their computers, to drop it to, like, you know, from 60 frames to 30, like, you know, for some slow motion action, like a surfer, you know, doing a nice little cut back on a wave in slow-mo. If you film it in 60, you can drop that down, that one scene down to 30, and it'll still look smooth and cool. But if you shoot it in 30, you can't drop it any lower than that. It's gonna suck. You could drop it to maybe, like, you know, 25 or something maybe, but it's not even be worth it. It wouldn't even look slow-mo. It would look slower. But that's the reason why you shoot at 60. Not that it's like, I mean, maybe it's better. I don't know. Your human eye can only see so well. Like with the
0.2 miles, turn left onto Lavalier Mic.
I have a ongoing conversation with a few friends about 4K TVs and versus 8K TVs. I'm like, really? Like, I think there's a statistic somewhere that says how much your eye can actually see pixels, and anything over that is just ridiculous. Like, I'm sure 4K is, like, way cool for your human eye to see. I've never heard anyone complaining about 4K resolution. And I also said I know I wasn't going to talk much, but, you know, I'm on a rant right now. So I went to Japan, and I was sitting in an airport, and they had a Samsung 8K TV, you know, just to show you how cool it was. I think they were showing, like, grass and, like, a lot of textures. I was like, Jesus Christ, that is pretty damn good. And then I could see the difference. Like, you know, I didn't have a 4K next to it to compare it with, but, you know, when I see 4K, I never had a complaint. But for some reason, just in putting the letters and the numbers 8K on the screen, my mind automatically went to 8K mode, and I was just like, damn, this is good. But I'd have to see it, like, you know, side by side. I'm sure it's better, but I mean, honestly, can your eye really see that well to discern the difference between 8 and 4K? And be like, oh yeah, this is shit. You can't even look at 4K anymore, you know. We'll probably come to that road. kind of like, how many more lenses can Apple put on their goddamn iPhones? So a lot of funny memes where they had the entire back covered with lenses. That's still recording. Alright. So I just wanted to test the audio. I mean, it's probably gonna sound like crap because my voice is not going through the speakers. But we'll see. Oh, just as a side note, I love these gloves. Touch screen. Sometimes you gotta like press a button with the quickness. I had a few gloves I ran through. Alleged touch screen capability. Never found anything better than Alpine Stars. Like that shit just works. You know, I just touch it. Any tip of my finger just moves it without delay. I could type messages with this thing. It's that accurate. So +1 A stars. I know there's some detractors, but never had a problem with this stuff. Like never. Like not one complaint with an A star product. I have A star boots. Uh-oh. It's getting hot. Just got a festival or something. That was an interesting detour.
Calculating new route.
Oh yeah.
Turn right, then turn left.
Well, I guess they just closed off this whole town.
Turn left.
That's cool. I guess there's probably a lot of little events and
Follow
stuff.
the road for about 4 miles. Calculating new route.
This is nice. I've never been on this road.
Turn left.
Twisties.
Follow the road for about 4 miles. Turn right, then turn left.
Oh, I can't go that way.
Turn left.
The GPS is freaking
Follow
out.
the road for about 3 miles.
Oh, okay. I guess we can go this way.
Calculating new route. In 300 feet, turn right onto Lindenwold Avenue. Turn left.
I need to check my brakes. A little stuttering there. I don't know if that's water or grease or something. I'm doing a lot of waxing on my bike, the hubcap, so maybe I could spray some wax on there, but it doesn't feel, I mean, it feels tight, it's stopping, but it was kind of a little sputtery when I applied the brakes there for a second. I'll check that later. tucked in. Because they're like, they almost look like, you know, track gloves, because their gauntlet goes way up to my elbow. I'm going to keep kind of a, somewhat of a lower profile. Oh, that's cool. So Siri is asking me to do some command.
Head checks at speed, you're not going to get a ton of air creeping in.
Oh, that's crazy.
Especially in inclement weather, you're not going to get wet. Again, great seal working there. They've refined the top vent on this helmet. Again, 10mm vent holes venting to the inside of the helmet.
So,
and ultimately, the last version of that lid didn't look as aggressive.
I was watching Revzilla video on my helmet to show you.
I can imagine when you get wet, if you
Tech 2.
then maybe has you know, it doesn't have any silicone or doesn't have any grip on it, it's going to be harder. You know where that is, but again, they could have given you something that would give you a little bit more positive traction there, or created a lip like they had on this last one. It's just very easy to find, but they've minimized it, they've dropped it down. They're probably trading off streamline for usability there. Again, there's no perfect solution to them. Moving into the back, this is a passive venturi vent, allowing this air to be sucked out of the helmet by the natural vacuum of the sphere at speed.
Jesus Christ. Close that. So I guess the microphone's working. Not sure how that happened. That usually, Siri never does that. I guess because I'm talking and she must have picked up a keyword or something. Anywho, the gloves, SP Air, not GP Air, SP Air, really nice. Like, holes, perforations in the palm, which I've come to love from my other gloves, my held air and dries. They have perforations crazy all over the bottom. Like, you just put your hand out, it just feels like you have no glove on. So these are almost like that. Like, I can stick my hand out, I can feel like air just rushing through my palm. And also, in between the fingers, there's like breathable fabric that, you know, just goes right in between my fingers. So between the palm, my fingers, and the little vents on the top, this thing is crazy cool. I like the race-inspired features on it, like the pinky and ring finger bridge. That's kind of cool. I like the two-tone. I'm going for like a black and white theme. My helmet's white, jacket's black. My Alpine Stars boots are black and white with red and yellow. But predominantly black and white. Try to keep it somewhat subdued. So heading up to New Hope / Lambertville, Jersey area. This is my ride du jour. I usually go up to you know, Boyers, Townville area, Pottstownish. Just kind of ride around there. I'm getting kind of bored with that ride. I do that tons. I don't go to New Hope too often. The last couple of rides I did, but I've discovered some cool rides since I've been there using this Kalimoto app. Which, I'm too cheap to buy the full map feature pack. So when I go over, it lets me have Pennsylvania, but when I go over to Jersey, like the map just like shuts off. Like, come on, cuz. The other eyes are open. The other app I like, Scenic. That's really cool. But they want like they give you like, they operate on like a token system, so you gotta pay X amount of tokens. Then you have like 10 tokens, and use those tokens to do various things on the ride. And then once you use up all your tokens, you gotta buy some more. And what's annoying is it's like voice commands. You know, I'm sorry, I need the voice to ride sometimes. Like, I can't always look down. And I had to hear, like, oh, make a right at this intersection, you know. And I ran out of my tokens, so it still works. But, you know what I mean? Like, come on. So that's when I started trying to look for another app. I came across Kalimoto, which is great because they're giving me voice-activated directions. Well, voice directions. You know, free. The only drawback is I'm stuck in PA as far as my map is, but you know, that's a fair trade-off. I'm sure at some point I'll buy it. I got a buddy that has it. He bought the full maps. He makes more money than I do, so I'd expect nothing less. It's weird now that I'm pseudo-vlogging. Like I said, I don't even know if this quality is going to come through. This is just me you know, testing. I'll find out when I get back how this works. I can tweak it or decide it sucks. But it makes the ride a little different. Like it's not like I'm not paying attention, but I'm definitely focused on what I'm saying. Like there's a part of my brain that's allocated to talking and processing thoughts other than writing, which I should have 100% of my attention on. So interesting. It's almost like an automatic mechanism, like the shifting, the leaning, the navigation. Like I'm like hardly paying attention to that shit. It's just doing it itself. Also, I've ridden this road a couple times, so I don't know if I would be so scatterbrained on an unfamiliar road. Or I would just probably just stop talking. We got a lot of rain, so these roads aren't totally dry. When you go through these tree-covered passes, like the sun doesn't hit there, so it's always slick, so I gotta keep an eye out for that. And I will be going through some of those kind of passes. And even right now, it looks like it's overcast. Still recording. Yep. Everything's still there. Oh, one more thing. So I got a GoPro branded 3.5mm audio adapter, as opposed to just some Chinese junk, which I'm sure is still made in China, but you know, $3 versus $30 is you know, big difference in quality. And I read somewhere that has more pins in there, so I know GoPro likes their proprietary adapters. Anyway, and so, you know, you're paying a high premium for this adapter. You can get like $6 on Amazon. And I don't know if it's the call quality, or I heard things like you can record but it doesn't play back, or it's only on one channel or something like that. So shouldn't have any issues here. But I saw this really cool video. This guy had one, and how he had it set up on his phone or his camera. So he had the mini USB plug plugged into the power port, which is mini USB obviously, and then he looped the adapter part for the microphone kind of like on itself or on the camera, so it went out of the USB port and did like a loop. So it was really compact. I liked it. So I did it. I used some electrical tape, and I taped it up, to itself. So I taped the adapter to the USB adapter of itself. So it's just, like a pretzel almost. And, taped it up nice and tight. So my plan was just to plug it in and then, connect the microphone, into the, I had it facing down. So a couple days later, I'm ready to ride. And I look at it, and it's like the rubber on the cable part of it started splitting, like it didn't like being bent at that angle. I'm like, son of a bitch. I expected a little bit more, Other cables bend. So it didn't like that tight bend apparently. And I'm sure it would have worked, but it split the plastic. I was like, son of a bitch. So then I had to tape the whole goddamn thing in electrical tape just so I wouldn't compromise if some water got in there. So now it looks like shit. And I lost the whole compact angle of it, which was really the whole goal. So now it's just kind of sitting out. And I had the microphone not permanently attached. I just kind of like stuck it in behind, where my ear is, next to the speaker on my left side of my helmet, and wrapped the cable. It's a short cable. Wrapped that through the back of my helmet, through the liner a little bit, just kind of tucked it in some spaces. And then, because this is the modular helmet, I can't get too crazy with it, so I kind of have it, going around my microphone that's in the helmet itself. So I have two microphones in here. And then out of the bottom where my chin is, going into the adapter port there. So, it seems to be okay. It just looks like a mess. Like wires all over the place. So aesthetically, it looks like shit. Functionally works. I'm not sure how it would handle at highway speeds. Sometimes
You paused your ride.
the Helimoto will just kind of freeze. So I'll look down, I'm like, I saw those exact same instructions and mileage like 3 miles ago. I know I missed my turn. So this is why I like having a decent touch screen. See? Yeah, I need some instructions to let me know it's still working. So that's why I like to have touch screen, because sometimes, you gotta like fix shit on the fly. We're going like 50 miles an hour. You'll be fiddling with some gloves that aren't cutting it. I'm gonna leave those brands alone because I still like the brands themselves, but some of their gloves suck. the held air and dry. I can't say enough about those things. And a lot of people will say the same thing, and they say they're not touchscreen capable, which is true. They're not as easily, you can't do shit like I just did that easy with these A-stars I did with my held. But I did find out that your finger heat will still get through the glove perforations. So with the pad of your finger, you can swipe on the held glove, and you can touch buttons to some degree. But yeah, it kind of sucked. Yeah, sorry, I took that turn like an old lady. That turn is the worst turn on this whole ride. Straight up and down. It's a blind turn. There's always water there and gravel. And it just looks like an accident waiting to happen. So I always creep through that fucking turn. But even just now, it's like, because I was talking, I wasn't really 100% focusing. I went through that turn a lot quicker than I usually do. Usually I just like creep around that, because like, I don't know if you can catch it on the camera, but that was nothing but gravel all over that fucking turn. And water. The blind turns. Less than optimum. So anyway, turn here. This car is not running over. These Metzlers are holding up.
In 0.2 miles, turn right on Times House Road.
I read the review, the Aleman TT race.
Turn right.
And we all know how crazy that road is. But that's nice. Tires are really good for this kind of weather. It's nice to see some sport bikes. Cruiserville up here. Now, I usually get in the right lane since I'm going to be making making a turn up here in a second. But up there on that bridge, oh, the right side is just like destroyed. Last time I was trying to be courteous and say, oh, let me just ride over here. You know, I was like, so I was like, let me ride on this side this time. It's probably just as bad, but we'll see. I'm sure my voice is coming through. Turn. But it gets very pretty up here. I used to get mad at cars that would just cut in front of me knowing I'm on a bike and drive slow as shit. It's like, why don't you just let me pass if you're gonna drive like a 100-year-old person, super conservative. And so like before, like back there about a couple miles, I was making a right turn. There was a car that technically had the right of way. They could have turned in front of me, but they saw I was on a bike. Maybe I was recording, and they let me go. This Cooper here obviously didn't see me, and he's not lollygagging. Like, I don't feel like I'm going slow, but I tend to go fast, and I always think that like when a car jumps in front of me like that, I think it's like, you know, God or some higher power or karma or whatever you want to call it. Put that car in front of me to slow me down so I don't get into a wreck or something. Like maybe there was you know, if that car wasn't there, I'd be probably doing at least 50-ish. Right now I'm just like going like low 40s. Maybe he's my guardian angel, but probably just a dick. Seems to be still connected. My worst concern is like having like a wire blow off in the wind or something, dangling all over the fucking place. Like right now, I'm connected to like a battery eliminator, and it's like a fairly long wire. I have it kind of tucked in next to my bike here, but I'm not sure where the damn wire is. Also, my GoPro mount looks like shit with all these wires on it because I'm looping it around there so it'll get yanked off. And it'll take up some slack. But the microphone that I'm using, the Rode Go, pretty pricey. I got got it fairly cheap for what it is. But I like quality, and microphone quality is like super important, so I'm wondering how good this is going to turn out. Like I said, it's not...
In 0.2 miles, turn left onto Forest Grove Road.
The microphone is not like, you know, in my mouth like how the SanDisk is. It's like literally over by my ear. So anything you're hearing now is just ambient inside the helmet talking. So I'm not sure how good that's going to pick up. Because there is some wind noise in here too, so it's probably picking that up. But it has like a little cover on it, so maybe that'll dampen some of the noise. Everybody swears by that brand, so thought I'd give them a try. Last thing I want to do is configure all this crap and then hear the microphone just sounds like shite. And the whole reason I went this route is my... You're telling me to make a left?
Turn left.
There you go. Is my SanDisk Bluetooth, and it doesn't have like a 3.5 millimeter little port to plug a microphone into.
In 0.1 miles, turn right.
So it's all Bluetooth.
Turn right.
Try different combinations, like the I have a SanDisk backpack Bluetooth, which is great.
For about 5 miles.
That took a while to get that working 100%, but I think it was attributed to the SD card. Just couldn't write quick enough at 60, which is what I had the frame rate on. So I dropped everything to 30. Cards are okay. Anyway. So I have, the other setup is I have the SanDisk backpack in the SanDisk, you know, case with a little bridge connecting to the GoPro. So you can't use a standard case, that you have to use the one they gave you because it's a little wider to accommodate for the bridge that connects into their USB port and the power port. So there's that. It has the ability to turn off the ambient microphone with a button. And the microphone port is sealed, so you're not going to hear a lot of wind noise on it, which is cool. So you can leave that on or off depending how you're rolling. I gotta turn off Siri. She's like asking me all the time, like say a command. I'm like, come on, dude, I'm just talking. If I want you, I'll say, you know, Heysiri, you know what I mean? Unless it actually, that's what I thought it said, but you know, maybe the designers would have factored that in. That's pretty. My wife would like that. Now these roads up here look damp as shit. So I'm hoping the sun will bake it up quickness. The time usually I ride back this way. So the SanDisk, I have that set up where I could plug it into this, I rigged up a 2-port USB connection there on my handlebars. Always got to have one for the phone. But that was all I had before. I only had one. So I had to get this 2 and then reroute the wire differently. The other time I had it under my seat. This one's cool because you can turn off the power drain. So when I get off, I just click a button and it's not going to be sucking any, like, you know, minute on my bike battery, which was never really a problem, but you know, I got an alkaline high-end battery I spent $200 on, so I don't expect any issues. So how I have that configured is I have a like an Anchor power bank that I keep in my front chest pocket. There's a USB plugged into that, and then the mini USB plugged into the Sena has an opening, and you can plug the power cord directly into the back of the Sena Bluetooth pack, which in turn powers the camera. And my goal with all this external power sourcing is I'm not using the internal GoPro battery at all. Like, there's no battery in my GoPro right now. I have them, and I have them on me just in case, you know, something goes sideways. I always carry like actually I have the extended battery backpack, which I can charge, and I have a back for that. And if depending on whatever, you know, because I have two different cases. The case I'm riding right now is the standard case, a small one with a skeleton back. I had to kind of, like, you know, dremel out some plastic to accommodate the battery eliminator plug that went into the, you know, the back or the left side of the Hero 4. After the 4, they don't have that port anymore, so I know a lot of people lament that, but just get the huge adapter that you can give you with the other ones, call it a day. You get better, you know, functionality on the camera, I guess, better resolution, performance. You know, with the Hero 8, you know, I'm always eyeballing that one. But before I justify spending a couple hundred, I got this Hero relatively cheap used on an online site. Some accessories.
In 1 mile, turn right.
So I'm just trying to get into this whole, I don't want to say vlogging, because I'm not really doing this for anyone to hear. I have a couple friends. I'll post it on you know, a video website just so I can, you know, watch my rides and whatever. But I'm not doing this professionally in any sense of the word. I just like the challenge, the technical challenge of trying to make this work with, you know, what I want to do with it. The hurdles I have to overcome. You know, solving problems to make it work. Honestly, the biggest thing was the SD card. I had no idea that I couldn't write at 60 megabits. Until I threw it onto a benchmark. Because every time I look at this, even the manufacturers are talking shit. Some are so vague, they don't even tell you what the right speed is. I'm like, dude, the right speed literally is all I care about. I care less about the read speed or the transfer rate or all that crap. All I care about is capacity. Between, I don't go below 64 gigs, and I can't go any higher than 128. So those are only two, you know, the storage I can roll with. So it's either 64 or 128 gig. V30. I need the new video standard, because you know, like they keep jumping up those, there's a lot of classifications on the SD cards, Jesus. So I'm thinking, how in my head, when I see a SD card that says V30, in my head, that says it's not going to write higher than 30 frames per second. Or you can't have your resolution higher than 30 FPS or it's going to crash. He's like, guys, swear to God, that's exactly what it correlates to. Now, I just bought a 128 gig Lexar 1000X SD micro that has a UHS-2. Most of them are 1 standard, so I think it has some more pins on the back, but it's all device dependent. I'm not sure if the GoPro even has the capability to write it like, you know, 150 or 90 megabits or whatever they're saying they can do with the V90 version, or V60, I'm sorry. So there's a V30, V60, and a V90. V90 is for probably like some kind of SLR camera or something. So with my Hero 4, 64 gig to 128 gig, or I need at least V30, preferably V60. V90 is overkill. I wouldn't reach that performance level with this device. So I think V60 would equate to 60 frames per second. So I should get that today. And before I use it, I'm going to throw it into the benchmark. And that motherfucker better get 180p by 60 frames per second consistent speed, or I'm just going to be like, you know, maybe this Hero 4 just is too dated. Like it can't, you know, process a card. Even if the card has the capability, and they say they can write, but the write speed, I'm not sure if that equates to the frames per second. So, you know, and it's you know, numerology. So if something says, oh, it can write at 40 megabits a second, does that mean the frame, you can't change your frame per second higher than 30? Because if you go higher than 40, it's going to crash, and the next highest up is 50, and then 60. So if it's saying 40, you know, writing capability, then you're not going to have much luck. Or if that's the minimum, you know. So there's a lot of variables. I wasted a lot, well, not wasted, but I spent a lot of time researching the minutiae. And I still haven't quite got a concrete answer. I guess I should ask somebody, but in my head, and just from my testing, I'm seeing, whenever you see a micro SD card that all, you know, has like a 10 and a 1 on it, what I look for is a V and a number. So if it says V30, I know I cannot set my settings to 1080p and 60 frames per second. If it says V30, it will crash. Now if I see a card, and honestly, that's not even that bad. I mean, like the quality's okay. I mean, it's a GoPro camera. It's not like, you know, a high-end movie camera. It can do 4K, but, you know. My camera lens is shooting through a piece of plastic covering, so I'm sure that distorts some of the image quality. So it's not going to be like super duper stellar. You know, you got light glare, washed out colors and shit. Oh, and there's a GoPro color tune setting in here on the camera that if you enable it, I guess it's like you don't want to do any kind of post at all. It's supposed to automatically, you know, adjust the lighting and enrich the colors on the fly. So as it's recording, it's you know, the settings are optimum. Whereas if you have it off, it's just kind of generic. The post people I read or heard like to have it off so they can, you know, do their own color enhancements on the computer. I'm not really getting into all that. I mean, I did that stuff in college, and I got frustrated with the discipline of filmmaking and video making because it was so time consuming. Like compiling a huge friggin' file. I mean, the editing is one thing, but I mean, it was like a labor of love. You really would have to like doing that shit, just sitting there all day, just waiting for stuff to get its shit together. Then trying to upload something takes forever. It's just a time-consuming process. And I guess you can multitask. You can do that, and while it's, you know, rendering, you can do something else. You know, play Call of Duty or something. Go to sleep. Alright, we're coming to the end of the ride here. And now we're getting into New Hope. I'm not going to do anything super fancy here. Usually I'm kind of running out of time. I got to be back relatively soon. So I'm not even getting off my bike. This is going to be like a one on-off the seat kind of ride. So my endurance, I mean, I've been riding a lot this year. It's, you know, mid-July. I started, you know, as soon as the weather broke.
Turn right.
Maybe, you know, late February. And go on the weekends when I can, weather permitting. Sometimes I'll go, because I work at home now, sometimes I'll go after work for a quick little hour. But anyway, my endurance has gotten a lot better. Like, you know, my grip strength, I'm not getting cramps or tired anymore like I used to when I first started. My bike has got decent posture. I'm like in like 3/4 kind of deal, and my bars are not directly, you know, below the peg of the fork top there, where you screw it in there, tighten it and loosen the spring. So it's got maybe like 3 inches up. It's not like, you know, heli bars or anything. I don't like it too high. I don't like it too low. This is perfect. This is a 2005 Honda VFR800 Interceptor. I love that name. Back in the 80s, when I first saw this bike, I was like, that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life as far as motorcycles go. Nothing ever captivated my fascination with motorcycles like the Interceptor did. And I knew I was going to have one someday. So just the opportunity presented itself. I mean, it's crusty, it's old. I've been doing a lot of maintenance on it, keeping it, you know, regular oil changes, bled the brakes, and the clutch. That was fun. Changed the tires out already to some Metzlers. Put some, I don't know if they're GoPro grips or whatever the fuck they're called. Italian. That's kind of cool. Gel grips. Found this through like a VFR board. These bar ends weights are supposed to help dampen the vibration in the handlebars. I mean, it never really was an issue before, but honestly, like now that I know I have like these gel grips, that kind of dampens it a little bit. So when I squeeze, I can definitely feel a vibration. And then the handlebars, the ends are definitely vibrating. So I think that's shooting off a lot of energy that would normally be translating up into my arms, so that's cool. Got a Corbin aftermarket seat, which is super comfy. It's not like a pillow, but oh my god, you sit on the stock seat, you'll definitely know the difference. I don't think I can ride the stock seat for more than 2 hours straight. This one here, I've ridden like, you know, I could probably ride 4 hours straight on this bike before I had to get off. So this ride here I'm doing is about 2.5 hours round trip. So I can easily just do this without getting off the bike. Sometimes I'll get off just to, you know, take a break like I should. Actually, maybe I will. I think you're supposed to take a break. Just mental 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll probably do that up here. There's a place I can pull over. I don't need to torture myself. But if you know, when I go on like a super long extended ride, you know, I don't like pulling over in 5 minutes either. But I think you should take a break. I always like to think about the hand waving when a bike comes towards you. So sometimes someone will ignore you. Honestly, I've never had a sport bike ignore me. It's always been like a cruiser bike for whatever reason. And it's funny, like sometimes I'll see a guy or girl, like where that blue car is right there, and they've already got their hand out. I'm like, son of a bitch, they beat me. And then sometimes like someone will like wave to you like where that car is right there, which is normal. Sometimes you do it at the same time. Sometimes you wave, they ignore you anyway. But I understand not having, you know, maybe you're shifting gears, or for some reason you can't take your hand off the control. Then you got like a perfect like grip and you don't want to release it. I get that. But nod your goddamn head. You have to acknowledge the other rider, right? We both share the same burdens on the road. We both have 2 tires. We're both susceptible to the same crap, which makes us brothers and sisters. All these cars are all out to get us. It's us against them. Let's stick together. Like, if you can't wave with your hand, you can nod your goddamn head. Don't tell me your head is too busy or you can't move your head up and down for 2 seconds. It literally, like, I sometimes I have to do it where someone waves to me and I just can't release my hands for some reason. They'll definitely see me nodding. It's like, yeah, I see you, dude. I just can't let my hands go. So that's my statement. Always acknowledge. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You can use 2 fingers. You can hold it down to the ground. You can hold it, you know, just lift your hand off the bars and just 2 fingers, just wave. I mean, I've seen all sorts of iterations of the wave. But the point is an acknowledgement. You know, everyone has their own way of doing it. And sometimes, like the head nod's usually for slower speeds. Like I'm in like, you know, traffic, or, you know, sometimes you're in like a turn and the other guy's coming the other way. That is cool though. Like you got this like crazy, like, you know, turn you're doing at high speed. And the other guy's waving because it's probably a little easier for him on his side, but your side's like a tighter turn, but you still kind of get your hand out there and wave. Like, what? So some other things I've learned in riding in hot weather, my god, last summer I did not have it together as far as my gear. I had the right gear, I didn't have it configured properly. So now I have this Climb Apex jacket, which has huge zippers on the sides, which let in a ton of air. Well, you can zip them up. This thing's like Gore-Tex waterproof. You can ride this in the rain and be dry. So it's very multi-use. So in the summer it's black, you know, it's textile, it's not even mesh. So the sides are open. It's got like zip openings on my shoulders in the front, and then zips on my forearms there. No chest vents though, those are pockets. And that's pretty much it. So I decided to keep my neck snapped and then just unzip it down to, you know, halfway down my chest. So now I have air coming in all those other places I just mentioned, but in addition to that, it's blowing right into my chest. So I feel like cool as shit. I got no complaints. I'm not sweating. It's just like air just blowing all through my jacket right now. It's great. Whereas before I had it all buttoned up. I had the vents open, but like my chest was not getting any kind of air. So one day it was like 90 degrees. I was like, fuck that, dude. I can't like ride with this closed up. But I don't want it flapping around either, so that's why I keep the neck closed button, and then just pull the zipper down like halfway.
In 0.2 miles, turn right onto General Mercer Avenue.
So I think there is a place right here. This is also
Let's do it again soon.
there's also a bunch of gravel, potholes and shit. Look at this. Ugh. But I also made the mistake of going way up in there, and then you can't. Like, it makes you go through the whole goddamn park to come back just out through this little entrance here. So this one take 5. Still recording. Yeah. Oh. So it's still connected, you see. Anyway, so there's the bike. And you can see here, the light is still on. I could turn that off, which is cool. I put some Velcro up there for when I had the remote, which turned out to be a bust. Always lube my chain. I just got that chain, Vortex. Nice. And I mean, if I was to turn this off and go somewhere, I'd have to unplug it from the port over there. Just kind of, you know, undo everything and stuff it into my helmet. Since I'm just staying near the bike, I'm gonna keep connected. That's their M7RR. So yeah, it's in pretty decent shape. Hopefully this is recording. It's probably recording a lot better without the wind noise. So let me see how this is connected. So you see how this is like looking stupid. A lot of wires back there. So I don't know if I'm going to rock this. Well, no, this will probably be my configuration when I'm by myself. But if I was going to go for the group ride or riding with someone else through center connection, I'll definitely use the backpack because, like I said, I've already tested that working. So I can rock that without the battery in the GoPro. You know, as long as I have a power source. So I use the Anchor power pack. I have yet to run that down. Doesn't seem to draw too much energy. So if I ride all day with that, it's not huge. I do have a big one though. It's like the size of a brick. You can simultaneously charge 3 devices, like 9 times or something. It's huge. But I'd never put that on a bike. Carry it on a bike anyway. What if I had like a backpack and I was going on like a long day, all day ride or something? Probably throw it in there just as a backup or something. But I mean, I think the one I have now is cool. But like I said, since I'm connected to the battery, power is not an issue. I also didn't want the battery in the GoPro to heat up. I know that was a thing. I mean, you can keep the battery in there, but you know, you don't want to overcharge it the whole time. So this seems to work without the battery, which is cool. Yeah. What else? Yeah. So that's the setup. Two different modes. Both do the same thing. I guess I like the battery eliminator idea because it just plugs straight into the GoPro without, you know, going into a Sena and then charging it that way. I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot more going on with the Sena setup, but still works. This one's a little more simple. It doesn't look as good though. It's wires all over the place. And now that I have this lavalier mic wrapped up in my head as well, I've got like 2 mics in my helmet. Yeah, I didn't want that mic to be put next to this other mic that I have here in my you know, for my Sena, because I'm not really recording my voice directly. I'm trying to record the speaker, which is where the microphone is right now. It's like way up in my left ear. So anything I hear in the speaker, I want that to be, you know, going through there. And like I said, when I have my intercom on, my voice will also ring through the speakers as well, in addition to my friends and everything else I've got going on. I usually don't listen to music too much when I'm riding. But I should try it just to see how that plays out. I got some hardcore metal, well, Static X that I like to listen to. So I'll throw that on. We'll see how I basically just want to record as much as I can with this setup and see how it works. Guess I probably should have edited that out.
Let's go.
You paused
your ride.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the river and go up, then come back down this way. But like I said, with the premium, this is Jersey over here, so it doesn't work very well over there. So I'll just cue that up. expect them to rise back.
Take myself out.
standard riding music, gets me hyped. Static X, Cult of X, I highly recommend it. Beavis and Butthead approved. Saw that coming. Quarrymen. gone this way before.
Follow the road for about 3 miles.
Alright. Hope you know where you're going. Nice little complex. house is. Holy smokes. That gear. GPS anymore. I know where I am. Like part of the way I come home from work when I was working at the office. Go this way. The one thing I do miss going to work at the office is I used to be able to ride my bike like more, you know, on a daily basis. You know, after a stressful day or whatever, it's nice to get on the bike and oh my god, I just forget everything as soon as I get on this damn thing. My favorite comment on motorcycling is you never see a motorcycle parked in front of a psychologist's office unless it's his. Alright, squirrel, get out the way. Right there was a perfect example of what I was saying earlier. Like she knew I couldn't take my hand off the clutch to wave, and I come into a stop, I'd stall. So it gives a head nod. Okay. It's gonna get a little windy here. I'm gonna keep the visor open. My my sunshade down. The little trick I learned on this Shoei Neotech. This is my first helmet with internal visor. Usually I rock the dark sunshade, you know. But I caught myself riding at home, you know, when the sun was going down, or the sun was like blocked in some way by a cloud bank or something like that. I was riding and it was like so dark I couldn't see shit, so I had to ride with my visor open, which sucked. That's close right now, but normally I would ride this with the visor up. Yes, I have a speedometer. Thank you for telling me my speed. That was a nice ride. It's supposed to be nice this weekend, and then start raining again like Tuesday. So the next couple days will be good riding. I'll probably take another video. I'm gonna try the now that I got the ish all together, I'm gonna try the 128 gigabyte hard drive, or a micro card, when I get it today. That one will be the Senna setup. See how that works, because that's really what I got it for, is for like a, you know, extended group ride recording, like changing out cards every 2 friggin' minutes. Oh, look at that. Almost perfect. Same spot. Whew. Still recording? Yep.